Welcome to Mr. Smith and Brother Blues In, the Between Cousins show. I'm Mr. Smith.
And I'm Brother Blues In. And like he said, this is the Between Cousins show. Hope everyone's having a lovely weekend. I think this is like the first weekend after New Year's.
Yep.
Um, I know it was kind of a it seemed like a long week. Like even though there wasn't a lot going on, like it was stuff, getting back into work and stuff. But I had my one of my I guess kung fu teachers mentioned something to me. He's like, "Oh, you didn't even come on New Year's Day," and I was like, "What do you mean New Year's Day?" I was like, that's been like 2, 3 weeks ago. I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "That was last week," and I was like, "What?" It seemed like a long week.
Yeah,
It seemed
I
like
hear you.
it's like it seemed like it was so long ago, um,
Hmm.
without a lot, and I guess a lot going on. But it's like I guess time right now seems to be moving. Not really. It's moving slow, but it seems like it's moving fast. I
Hmm.
don't know if that makes sense or anything.
Yeah, yeah. We're almost halfway through the month already. It's the 12th. So
I mean, we're like 2 weeks in, right? I
yeah,
mean, we're a week and a half in because when
right.
we started, the first was on a Wednesday. But so what's up with you, Cuz?
Not much, man. It's just, getting into the new year and trying to figure out, some things I want to do this year and some things that I have been waiting on doing something with because I was waiting on something else. And
Right.
so I'm just looking at some things. I'm moving some stuff around in the house, changing some stuff here and there, getting things to flow better and work better for myself. And I saw something the other day that reminded me of when I came to see you in Arizona when you were doing the testing, and it was like and I don't want to not say this the wrong way, but mention it incorrectly, but there was a video that I saw on Instagram, and it was like a CIA psychologist that was actually saying, your body tells you, different things. So they did an experiment where a guy held his hands out
Huh?
and he said, say, and she's like, well, say your name is Steve. And then, she put some light pressure on there and of course his hand went down. And then, okay, say your name is Tom, which whatever his name was. And then he did that and it held. And I was just like, well, that's kind of similar to what
No, that's
we were
exactly
just,
what I was doing.
yeah,
No, it's just so
exactly.
it's just true or false, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
like when it's true, you test strong. When it's false, you test weak. So it's the same thing as like, okay, does this strengthen me? Okay, true. Okay, I'm strong. So it's like we were
Right.
holding, and we haven't had a chance to even go through the video. So it's like I'll try
Yeah.
to. I need to look at that. I know we had mic issues and stuff, so we might take some pieces and stuff from that, just from the testing pieces itself.
Right.
But that's basically the premise of kinesiology, right? Same thing, back in the day, and I think that there's still some guy that has that where he gives you this magnet bracelet. He takes
Hmm.
it off, and you like put your arm on the side, and you like come down, and then you put the bracelet on, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it strengthens you, right?
Right.
All it's doing is it's balancing your um, what would you call it? Your polarity, right?
Okay.
So it's
Uh,
just that's all it's doing. It's not, but it is true. Yes, your body does. Um, how do you put it? Your body does tell you everything you need to know about your daily life, what you need to do, whether you're how you're feeling about something, um, whether something is true or false, right? It's like or something might happen. Like your body is your intuition.
right.
Like a lot of people talk about opening a third eye and
Hmm.
doing this stuff, which is good. Third eye is having the third eye open, but having all the chakras open and having them all connected is optimal,
Right.
right? Versus just okay, I've got third eye open is like going, I'm getting all these messages from all these different spirits and um, you know, extraterrestrials and all this stuff. Like you're just all mind open, but there's no discernment with that.
Right. To understand what you're
Yeah,
getting.
or understanding, right? There's no
Uh-huh.
understanding, and that's where
Hmm.
it being connected to your sacral brings you the understanding, right? And
Hmm.
then going into the solar plexus, you're able to, okay, this is the emotion I feel around this understanding.
Hmm.
And then you go back, then it goes up to the throat. It's like, okay, now I can express my understanding of this, how I
Right.
feel about this. Okay, it made me angry, made me sad. And you may not even voice it that way. You may be more just like all, I'm angry.
Right.
Or just uh, um, how do you put it? Just exhaling, right? Like
Right.
just like
Exactly.
releasing,
Uh-huh.
like right?
Releasing it.
Or it's
Right.
like, oh, you know what? I love you. It's like, oh, you say stuff like you look beautiful today. Like it's like you can see it. But the interesting thing is, I noticed that when we were kind of talking before we got on here, we were kind of talking about uh being Virgos and kind of being a natural BS detectors.
Yeah,
Like
right. Yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
yeah, I second guess myself on I've always second guessed myself whenever I see something or I hear someone say something or I'm watching them. But the interesting thing is that you can always tell, whether someone's being truthful with you or being honest with you by their eyes.
Hmm.
They can't look at you while they're talking, they're probably not telling you the truth. Now,
Right.
I mean, that goes into, if you look into it, is like if they're looking to the right, they're thinking of a lie. If they're looking to the left, they're thinking of they're really trying to process something, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
So it's kind of I guess
A tell.
yeah, not a tell. So I learned that when I did loss prevention for Sears and
Oh, okay.
interrogation. It's like an interrogation tactic, and I might have gotten the directions wrong. So I'm trying to one way is going to tell you they're lying. One way is going to tell you they're telling the truth
Like if
or
they
they're
look to the
thinking about
right,
it
right.
versus
Uh-huh.
but if someone comes up to you and they say, they're like, oh, you are very beautiful, right? Now, if they're looking at you and they're looking at you in the eyes, okay, then maybe they do believe that you're beautiful. But there's something else in their facial features that come into play where it's like, oh, okay, are you just saying this to blow
Hmm.
smoke up my ass,
Right.
or are you actually being like genuine with it,
Hmm.
right? Are you trying to? Is there an agenda behind it? Like some dude at the club being like, hey, beautiful, hey, beautiful. Come on, you don't know this person. It's like, how do you know?
Right.
you
Hmm.
know because beauty isn't just physical, right? Beauty
Yeah.
comes into, it's like the personality, um their attitude, their demeanor. that's
Right.
that's what makes people beautiful,
And the
or
intention
handsome.
in what they're saying. Right.
It's that the intention, yeah,
The
intention behind
intention.
it.
It's like,
So
hey, beautiful.
um
Well, you can't see in here, and that thing's dark,
yeah,
but
right, it's
you
all
beautiful.
dark. It kind of reminds me of a black sheep and that Strobe Light Honey, that song Strobe
Uh-huh.
Light Honey, where he's like, oh, why don't you come out of the dark? He's like, whoa, 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 wait. Uh, I'm on my way, man. I'm on my way. I
Right,
gotta
right, right.
go.
I got a
I gotta
call.
go. Right? It's like that. So it's a
Right.
back in my clubbing days. I don't go clubbing anymore, but the clubbing
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, but that intention on it, that,
Well, and
that
it's not even just
gives
with that, right? It's like
uh
the intention of how we say stuff. I'm very. I go back and forth with how I do my business. Like I promote it, but I don't. To me, I guess I don't over promote it. I don't oversell something, and I don't try to sell anything. I just don't have a problem, or I don't have a problem. But it's like I have a thing where I don't like to sell.
right,
It's like to me, it's like you either need this and you feel that this is gonna be for you or not. I don't
right,
want to have to sell it because once I get to that point, I don't feel authentic.
right. And I have an example on that because I was talking to somebody about they were asking, about me and Michelle and what we do and stuff like that. And I was just like, well, one of the things we do is like couples massages. So I
Mhm.
started going into depth and talking about that.
Yeah.
And that lady I was talking to probably signed up that same day just because I was
Yeah, yeah,
giving
yeah.
the
Well,
experience, but I
well,
wasn't
yeah.
trying to
And
sell it.
no, no,
I'm
no. You
not
were being
affiliated with
you were
them.
telling
Right.
your experience with it, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
That's the best. I mean, that's the best sales thing is your experience. Hey, you know what? I went to this. We go to this couples massage. I feel great afterwards, and it's just I get this much out of it. I do that all the time.
Right.
With certain things, and that's not
Mhm.
really selling because I'm not profiting off of that. I'm just telling you my experience, right?
Right. Hmm.
But what I'm saying is when it comes to hey, I do holistic wellness, I do Reiki, I do energy medicine. I'm not going to tell you you might have some I don't know, top of my head,
Right.
diverticulosis. I'm not going to tell you
Right.
I'm going to heal that. I can't
Right.
I can't tell you that. Because it's like because there's activities that you have to take in order to um do that for yourself.
Right.
But what I am going to do is I'm going to teach you how to work with your own energy, how to read your own energy, how to tell, okay, like kind of like when I showed you how to test, right? It's like
Yes.
how to test supplements, whether you need to take this medication. Well, I'm not going to tell you I'm going to take medication off the board because I can't. I'm not a doctor, so I cannot test you for medications. You can do that on your own and have the conversation with your doctor, right? But it's like I can't test you for that. But
Right.
foods, supplements, um, actually crystals, stones, stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. It's like you can
Yeah.
you could do all that stuff yourself and test it. Like what we were talking about. It's like, okay, is this true? Is this not true? In fact, you know what? I should actually go through that right now, right? It's like, maybe this is a good
Yeah.
segue into that anyway, right now,
Okay.
while we're talking about that. And I'll try to get that video out there too. But one simple way to easily test, and hopefully I get the camera angle correct. So you want to sit
Okay.
flat with your feet on the floor, both feet on
Uh-huh.
I'm going to put this orange back here for right now. And what you're going to do is you're going to pick up one knee, and then your foot's going to be off the ground. And you're going to push down on it. And so you can say, I mean, you probably can't hear me, can you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You still
Yeah.
hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So hopefully we'll just turn this up just a little bit,
Oh,
just in
yeah.
case, so that it'll pick up what I'm
There you
saying.
go.
So, and what you'll do, so there's multiple ways to verify. So you first you want to verify that you're actually feeling the energy right and that your energy is running correctly. And so that you're not getting any false positives.
Okay.
So you lift the leg up. Easiest way is to say, show me yes, and it'll be strong. And then show me no, and it'll break. You'll feel a break in it.
Uh-huh.
Right. And you don't have to push down too hard, but sometimes you do have to, they say 2 pounds, but it's like you can actually get, weight and then put the weight on it. And if it holds it up, it'll hold it up. If not, or you can push down on it, just use a little bit of force on it. So show me
Right.
yes, show me no. Or you can say, my name is Brian, right?
Yep.
It moves a little bit. My name is Cedric. Oh, now it just moves.
Right.
My name is Brian. My name is Cedric.
Huh.
You can't hold it. Like my name is Cedric. I can't really hold
Right.
it up there. I can push it down. So then you get whatever it is that you want to test, like an orange. Just hold it in your hand, or you can put it onto your spleen, or however you want to do it. Because really, the muscle you're testing is this muscle right here, anyways, and that's why it's called small intestine test. Because that's a muscle I would test to see if your small intestine meridian is in or out, or if it's out of balance, or if it's if there's issues going on with it. So then hold it up, and okay, test strong, right? But then if I was to get, say, I don't know, let me grab something I know that I will test week for.
Okay.
This is just a supplement that I know that it's still in my cabinet because I bought it, and I ended up just testing week for it, and I it just didn't work for me. So now I'm gonna pick it up, and yeah, I can't even hold literally I'm just holding it.
Right.
So that's the easiest way
Mm-hmm.
for testing. And so that's kind of like so the viewers know, what we were
Right.
talking about. So I went through, my cousin came down, and I actually had him bring his whole supplement kit.
Right. Yep.
And showed him how to do some testing and stuff. We did record it. I need to go through the video and
Edit. Right.
edit some stuff out so that the recording, because we only had one mic. We're not professional audio visual guys, but
We're getting better.
we're getting there. We're getting there. So, but yeah, so I mean, that's just it's a simple test, and you can use it for anything. Like I said, you can use it for. I actually I actually tested some of your bracelets, right? You had some
Oh
chakra
yeah, yeah, yeah.
bracelets.
Uh-huh.
We tested some chakra bracelets. There's a big thing with those. So like I see a lot of people that wear specific bracelets, and maybe it makes them feel good, maybe it doesn't, and maybe that they're in tune with their own energy.
Right.
But a lot of times I'll see people, and I'm sitting there like, okay, I see this imbalance. Like I see imbalances in people.
Right.
I hear imbalances in people's words. I just see this stuff. It's like I see certain things, facial features, and I'm just like, okay, something's off balance here, and just feel it.
Right.
So I actually will, like what I did with you. It's like, okay, well, maybe you don't need those, or maybe you got them on the wrong wrist, because you could actually have them on the wrong wrist depending on what they are.
Right.
Right? Because
Exactly.
it's like one side is yang, one side is yin. So it's like you really don't want a yin, a yin bracelet, or a yin, whatever on yang side. You really don't want to, because it's
Right.
going to weigh you down. You might feel the heaviness, or you may not. I know that I do whenever I wear stuff. It's like I can only wear it for so long, and then I'm like, okay, I'm noticing some imbalances,
Right.
and then I have to take them off.
Yeah, that was very informative when we were kind of going through that, and I was kind of I guess not necessarily shocked, but when you had touched the amethyst one, you're just like, whoa, that's the purple gem that I had, and
Yeah, that you
you're
carry
just like,
around with you. Is that the
wow,
one you
yeah.
carry with you?
Yeah, I was carrying it that day. I don't normally have them on me all the time and stuff like that, but just
Yeah,
had it in my pocket, you know.
amethyst is one. I don't highly recommend like carrying amethyst
Uh-huh.
if you're not I guess doing like psychic work or that
Right.
type of stuff, because amethyst is more of a third eye crown kind of
Hmm.
thing. And so what ends up happening is you end up with this imbalance with it where you're just like, okay, I'm getting all these thoughts and these things and these, and I don't know how to feel about this stuff. And you get confusion. You can get a lot
Right.
of confusion with that, right? Because it
Okay.
opens it up a lot. Like it's because you can set that on your third eye and
Uh-huh.
just and take a do a meditation with that, and you'll have some visuals and stuff. Like it is very opening. Same thing with crystals. Same thing with
Right.
quartz.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then, but on the other side, it's like the tiger's eye. You had way too much tiger's eye on you.
Right.
You didn't feel like how do you feel since we've done that though?
Well,
Feel a little
since we've
lighter.
done that, I haven't really worn them as much.
Yeah.
I have worn the black one that I had,
Yep. Mhm.
that has one tiger's eye
Yep.
with the other the selenite I think you gave me or something, whatever white one that you put in that little spiral
Yeah.
thing
So
for
nice.
me. Yeah. So I felt fine with that, and then I was also wearing the magnetic one that you gave me, and
Yeah.
then I was doing something at the house and fixing something, and I actually broke the magnetic one.
Yeah. That means you don't
So
need it no more.
yeah. So okay, that's cool. I was kind of upset. I was like, man, I just got that too, you know.
Well, it was just
So
I think at the time your polarity might have been off.
uh-huh,
But what it was doing was it was just rebalancing your polarity.
gotcha.
And that was from wearing like two or three of them on this arm. You had two or three on this
Right.
arm,
Uh,
and one of them had a just basically the whole thing was tiger's eye, and
right.
tiger's eye is a
Yep.
very heavy one. It's a good one. I like it. It's a good one.
Right.
It's very grounding, but it can really it can really cause a lot of your energies to be focused lower chakras,
Okay.
which
Okay.
you don't want any one chakra to be specifically focused. You want
Okay.
them all, right? Because it's
Imbalance.
like because
Right.
the idea is to be a whole being, not
Uh-huh.
a okay, I'm clairvoyant.
Right.
Okay, well you could be clairvoyant all you want, but it's like how much understanding do you have behind the information you're getting? Because it's like you could say I'm psychic and I saw this happening. Well, what timeline did you see that happening on? Is that
Right.
you're kind of where's the connection, right?
Hmm.
What is it? What exactly did you see? Do you even know what you were seeing? And is that your information or is that someone else's information? Is that what is it? Right?
Right.
There's so many different factors in that. It's like, but there's no discernment in it a lot of times.
That's like having a dial on a radio
Yeah.
a radio where you're going up and down the frequencies to see, okay,
Where's the signals?
this, oh
Well,
yeah,
that's
this
what the third eye does.
uh-huh.
Third eye goes out. It's like, oh, it's sending out signals to be like, okay, this, that. Okay, here's the information. Because it's like when you ask for information and you get memory for like you remember something, or it's like, okay, how do I do this? And then just all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's how I do that. That's what's happening is the third eye, when you ask, it goes out and says, okay, I need this. Where's this information in this energy field around us? Oh, there it is. Okay, boom. Then you get it, and then it comes down to the sacral,
Uh-huh.
and then it's like, okay, now you can do it
Right.
because now you have a process in place to be able to do it. But
Yeah.
when you just get a bunch of information and then you just blurt it out, it never makes it down to that understanding. And so
Ah.
then it's hard to explain it to other people without
Uh-huh.
an understanding.
Right. And that process for it probably works in different uh for that to happen like that and to go all the way
It
down. It
has
probably
to,
is not
so
an
so
instant process.
every thought, actually our eyes are kind of associated with the third eye anyways because it's taking in information,
Uh-huh.
right? Same thing with the nose, the ears. You hear something, third eye processes it because it has to process this. This is all external information coming in. These are all the sense organs. Same thing with taste is a little bit different because it's a still would be associated with it, but it's more associated with the heart.
Uh-huh.
So the tongue is actually associated with the heart. So it really wouldn't be taste is it's a sense, but it's closely related to the nose because it's like you notice if you smell something, you could taste it. Like if you
Right.
smell something good, like back in the day, mom's making some fried pork chops or something, you're like, oh man, I can't wait to eat it. Just taste it. Your mouth starts salivating, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
Um, so they kind of go together, right? It kind of all this stuff kind of goes together. But all of the sensory stuff, and then and again, please don't if I say something that you disagree with, I mean, great. It's like because there's different schools of thoughts when it comes to a lot of this stuff, but this is how I recognize it. Um, when it comes down to all of our experiences, the only way we experience the world is through sight, smell, hear, touch,
Hmm.
and taste. That's the only way we can experience the world around us, right? So it's like we would never know. Like if I was deaf and you were cussing me out, I wouldn't know you were cussing me out
Right.
unless I was reading your mouth. But then I would have to know exactly how to read your mouth in order to understand that you're cussing me out.
Yeah. Or see
Now,
how my
now
body
would I feel
movements.
something
Yeah.
on
Uh-huh.
that because I had no experience of it? Like if I can't experience it, I can't feel it.
Right.
So a lot of times it's like we're looking at stuff on social media.
Hmm.
Okay, it's like this is going on. Oh my God, that's so sad. Okay, you might feel that in your stomach. You might feel that in the spleen. You might feel it somewhere in the lower, the emotional center. To me, is the sacral, and then but that is also the doing center. That is also the motivation center. Um, to me, and then the sacral is more of like, okay, how do I find understanding in this? But the thing is that depending on what that experience is and what emotion that experience brought up, guess what? It sits in that specific organ because it
Right.
has to get processed. It get processed just like they process food, they process supplements, they process liquids and stuff. They also process emotions. They also
Yeah.
process experiences. And if they're not processed correctly, you get stagnant chi, you get stagnant energy. Um, and then you end up with these mental blocks because, yes, this does, it's a second brain, right? They say that the gut is a second brain because, yeah, it has intelligence. The brain itself is just, to me, is just a processor, a processing center,
Right.
not necessarily a thought center. It's not the brain itself, yes, holds the pineal gland and the what you call it, and the third eye and all that stuff do kind of sit within the brain. But again, you think about a computer, it's like, okay, you plug in the power because that's young, right? It's and then it processor turns on, and then it goes out, and it's like you got your RAM. You got probably have a spot for RAM
Uh-huh.
for short-term memory, right? And then you have the hard drive, which is probably sitting in your org. To me, sitting in the org field or the field around you is your hard drive with all the information,
Right.
right? And it puts it in short-term memory, and then it comes into okay, now I can do something with it, and goes into the body like a computer, right? So it's like, and
Right.
then it goes into okay, well, I need to process anger. Okay, I'm going to go into the sacral, and the sacral is going to send me to liver gallbladder. Okay, how do you process anger? Okay, now it's like okay, I need to process this, and I need to express this. I'm going to go to the what emotion is it? Okay, what is anger? Okay, good. Now I'm going to come up and I'm going to express it through the throat. The throat actually has a chamber for every chakra, which means that it expresses everything from the body. And that's what I mean by it's like you can be gasping. It's like, oh, my day, or it's like, oh, I'm so mad, right? Or I
Right.
love you. I
Right.
hate you. Like you're
Right.
expressing.
Uh-huh.
It's healthy to express, but at the same time, it's like you have to make sure that you're expressing it healthily,
Right.
right? Expression is always healthy, but you got to pick the way that you do express it. So it's like you are always a choice at that. Just because you're angry at someone doesn't mean you have to just cuss them out.
Right.
No, just because you hate someone, and hate is like it's not even a word like in my vocabulary. Like I can't think of a person that I hate. I hate some things that people do. I
Right.
don't hate people. I don't
Right.
hate a person. I don't hate, there's nothing that I hate. That's like I hate things. There's certain things that and it's not even hate. It's like I don't like it. Right?
Hmm.
Because to me, hate is like this extreme don't like,
Right.
right? And love
Yeah.
is like an extreme like.
Uh-huh.
I love this, and you get so possessed because you love this. So it's these expressions, anger. Like I talk to my son about this all the time. It's like you're sitting there, especially on track. So he runs track, and he would be running, and all of a sudden something would get in his way, or like a kid would in another lane would hit him, and it would get in his head, and he'd be like, "Oh, and that kid hit me," and it's just and I he just did this, and he gets all frustrated, and I'm like, "Oh, so why didn't you just beat him?" And he's like, "Oh, well, because this happened." And I go, "Well, because one, instead of you taking that anger and saying, you know what, I got this, and using it as motivation, you
Right.
used it as frustration and just freaking, and it
Yeah.
threw you off. I get
Uh-huh.
that. I'm a wood element. We'll have to do a show on maybe I'll do an elemental reading. So it's like when I say wood element, so bodily constitution wise, I'm a wood element, which means that I express, well, should I say, I experience life through liver gallbladder. So it's like anger, frustration, resentment, that type of stuff. Those are the types of emotions that I will experience through things, or how whenever I look at things. But then when I go into my natural self,
Uh-huh.
And then we'll have to do, and we could probably maybe do right now. So basically, let me give a little bit of background on this. So
Okay.
basically, the way that it works is what I do is called a four pillar reading. And you take the year. It's kind of like doing an astrological reading. So you take the birth date, right? Month, day, year, and but then you take the time of day. So like the year itself is your bodily constitution. Um, that is the one. If you go to like a Chinese restaurant, you'll see like, oh, I'm a wood rabbit, or I'm a fire dragon, or whatever. So that's what that is, right? That's the you'll have an animal associated with it too. And then your month is kind of like your elder self. As you get older, you'll have these attributes of like for me, and I'll give the example of myself. So I'm a wood rabbit
Right.
for my year. And then for my month, I'm a wood rabbit. Then I get to the day, which is the 9th of September, and my day is actually a earth horse. So the day is how your social self, more of your social self, how you are with, a lot of times with the world. Um, so I may be, feeling things from a wood rabbit where I'm frustrated and I'm this, but then I'm going to express it, and socially more of a worry. Um, what else would come up for Earth? It would turn into more of a worry or a depression kind of thing. Kind of that those types of emotions might come out, but it also could be joy, right? Joy is another emotion that comes from Earth. But
Right.
then my natural self, so the time of day is your natural self. So my natural self is wood rabbit. So it's like I have nothing. I'm just literally just a rabbit and wood rabbit. So it's like I'm always anger, frustration, and depending on if I'm around people, then I might like hold back and not really express my anger, right?
Right.
And then I'll just go home, and then it's like then I turn back into wood rabbit where it's like, oh, I'm so angry. It's like, how do I use this? What do I do? How do I get around this? Right. So
Uh-huh.
when it came to track, because when I play a sport, like it's like the idea of a sport, everyone always says, get in the zone. Well, getting in the zone for me is like, okay, I'm paying attention to me. I'm only paying attention to me, what I'm doing.
Right.
Okay, what everyone else is doing, I don't care. And I never understood this. Like with my son, he'd be warming up and he's like so focused on his friends doing this and doing that. When I was warming up, I was warming up. Like I'm doing my
Right.
thing. And then I'd take a little break and I'd go chit chat or whatever. Then I'd go back and I'd be in my zone. I'd put my headphones on, listen to my song. I'm ready to go. Then I go freaking run up the field or do whatever, right? And that's how I do with everything. It's like, okay,
Right.
let me step away from this. Let me figure this out for myself, because it's like I'm trying to figure out how to take this frustration, how to take this motivation, how to take all that and how to use it to build something, how to create something or to complete something, right? How do I
Right.
get this done efficiently? And
Hmm.
that may be Virgo part of me, but um
But yeah.
as we putting stuff together. So you can see this whole picture of people by doing this little when I do this little reading for them. It's actually it's super cool. It's like I'll go through a reading and I'm like, and you probably feel this and you probably express it this way, and they're like, well, how do you know that? And I'm like, oh well, it's just yeah, that's just
Right.
the nature of the elements, right? That's why I always defer to the five elements for everything.
Right. Yeah, and that's a good thing. And I was gonna ask too, as you were talking there, I was just, thinking about all
I
the
know
different
a lot.
dis distractions and stuff that
Yeah.
we get from social media and being around people and stuff like that. And I was gonna ask is do you think that do you think that meditation is something that helps get you balanced, or what is the meditation tool used for in relation to
So
the energy?
meditation itself. So this is and so and hopefully I don't well, actually I don't care. Um Meditation to me is not sitting in. That is a type of meditation, right?
Uh-huh.
But meditation is you're focusing on something. That's all meditate means. Meditation is not an action. It's a type of it's focusing. So
Right.
it's like you could be meditating on when you're studying, you're meditating on this data, right? You're focused on one thing. When you're playing a sport, you're focused on playing sport. Michael Jordan, he's in the zone. Yeah, you can't stop him. He's in the zone because he's
Right.
meditating. He's out there. It's like a meditation. People go for these long runs and they say that they get to this point to where they're just running and it's like a meditation for them, right?
Right.
So meditation isn't specifically just sitting and doing that. But what I would say, what brings you back to the self is breathing. It's your breath,
Right.
right? And I'm not saying you have to go out there and be doing fire breath and just can be helpful,
Right.
right? But the best one that I think it works the best to bring you centered is the box breathing, or at least holding your breath, just breathing in, hold it, breathe it out. That one always brings you back to center,
Right.
right? Because what you're doing is at a certain point, your body, your energies are being reactive, right? And so in order to stop them to get reactive, you have to get your energies to focus on one thing. So if you breathe in and you hold it, and for a certain amount of time, then all of a sudden the body goes into this fight or flight mode, or like this,
Right.
not fight or flight mode. Sorry, it goes into a preservation mode.
Right.
And so it has to go, okay, so what do I need to do to make sure the heart keeps pumping? What do I need to do? So it focuses on itself. Then you breathe it out. And then all of a sudden you notice that all of a sudden your shoulders drop and everything drops, right? And there's
Right.
different techniques, right? So there's like the spleen hug, and there's there's another one for, especially if you have reactive energies, where you just make a kind of make this flat, and you're going to want to put it right on the side. So you're basically getting triple warmer and what is that? Gallbladder meridians.
Uh-huh.
And then you put these on the forehead. So you're basically doing this is the main neural vascular points. You're
Uh-huh.
basically here, and you're just going to breathe in and breathe out. You do that a few times, and you'll notice how you're all of a sudden the tension in your shoulders drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just and that's for reactive energies, and it's more of a triple warmer one. But you can
Okay.
also do, say that you're just stressed, or you're just like, oh, frustrated, all this stuff's going on. So you basically take one hand, put it on the spleen meridian, take the other hand, put it on the back side of the arm, which is so you're hitting the triple warmer. So triple warmer, triple burner, is your fight, fight, or freeze meridian.
Uh-huh.
It's basically the fascia throughout the body. So like if you've ever had like a shock and you're just like, oh, what do I do? And your whole body freezes up. That's what that is, or you go into a hyperventilating state, you're like, everything just kind of tenses up, your whole body tenses up, or you're waiting, bracing for impact. Like say you're playing a sport, or you're going to get an accident or whatever it is, and you brace for impact. That's triple warmer, right? It's protector. So it
Right.
runs from here, comes up the back of the arm, literally comes up the shoulder. So if you have this tight shoulder, and it comes up and over right above the eye,
Ah, okay.
the eyebrow, right at the eyebrow. So if you have that, like this is tight right here, that's you're probably reactive, triple warmer reactivity. So
Okay.
that's why it's like the meridian's back here. So you're going to hold the spleen and the meridian, and you're just going to breathe in. And then as you breathe out, you want to lean into it because you want to press the stomach, right? Because stress, and that was the emotion I was thinking of. Was like I would be angry or frustrated, and then all of a sudden I feel stressed,
Uh,
right? Because stress is the stomach. So you want to press the stomach in, right? You're just like,
right.
and just breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Now there is one more that you can do, and this is more of a qigong one. So it's more of a. Hopefully, I can get all into the camera. Um, you don't need to see all of that. Camera angles today. So stomach spleen is the
Uh-huh.
is the earth element in it. That's going to be your stress. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to breathe in, and so you're going to want to say the word oh,
Oh.
right. So that's basically like if you got a upset stomach, or like you got stomach ache and you're like, oh, so you're going to go. You want to press in and just oh. Oh. So that's more of a uh, breathing sound for tonifying the stomach spleen.
Right.
And that's also a good one you can use, anytime you're stressed or whatever. And if you notice, they all involve breathing,
Right. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Without that breath, you're not getting a lot out of it, right? You could be doing here just like this, and okay, I'm holding it. You'll get a little bit of energy dissipation, but it's that breathing in, because now when you breathe in, you brought in all this new oxygen and all this new prana and chi and all that. And then all of a sudden the old stuff, it goes and flushes out the old stuff because the carbon dioxide and stuff is what comes out, right? And so
Right.
everything else just gets released. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, all that lactic acid and whatever else was causing that tense and tension is released, right? So it's like
Yeah.
all these things, all these different modalities, it's like they all work. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, it's like they all work. Do
Right.
I use them all? I mean, in a sense or not, right? Because it's like I don't do breath work per se,
Right.
but I do some breathing stuff,
Right.
right? I wouldn't call it breath work, but in the for all intents and purposes, it's breath work, right? We're not sitting there and I'm not laying on having you on the table and you're not doing any of that type of stuff.
Right. Uh-huh.
But breathing is breathing,
Right.
right? That's meant for okay, might want to get a euphoric experience or whatever it is. And I'm not going to talk to it because
Right.
I'm not trained in breath work
Right.
other than the specific ones that I've kind of gone through and shown you. Now each element's going to have a different breathing thing, and maybe we'll do a video on that where we'll do each element's breathing sound
Okay.
because that's
That'd be
actually
that,
it's actually kind of cool. It's some cool stuff.
that'll be a good one. And then after you said, I think the last time we talked, you said we were like in the winter season.
Mhm.
Yeah, winter, because fall was up until January or
It was like the Christmas.
okay, yeah, Christmas. Okay, so now we're into
Yeah,
winter.
the winter equinox.
Right. And then how long does winter last before we get into the
It'll
next?
go through probably mid-March, so it's like basically around 10 weeks
Okay.
or so. Well, and that's kind of like what we follow for the thing, but it's usually at the beginning of spring. So I guess like, I don't know if there's a spring equinox or not.
Right.
I don't really find if I hear it or I see a thing on YouTube or something where they're like it's a spring equinox, but usually the
Right.
ones that I hear about are the winter equinox and the summer equinox, right?
Right.
Those are the two. So yeah, so then when we get into the wood season, we're going to get into a lot of different protocol because there's a lot more movement that you want
Okay.
because it's associated woods associated with the uh, ligaments, joints, tendons,
Hmm.
right? So you're going to want to be doing a lot more stretching and moving and getting stuff. There's still some breathing stuff that goes along with it,
Right.
but it's going to be more strengthening that stuff. Where right now it's all about the bones and the bone marrow,
Right. Okay.
which I need to get that content put together for the winter stuff. So I'll work on that this week.
All right, that sounds good. That
But
sounds good.
it's fun,
But yeah,
fun
dude, I
trying to
like
balance out
right,
working, building a business, and then putting this YouTube channel together.
right. So yeah, that definitely some good information and good techniques and from what you showed today and from what we've done in the past as well. So definitely gonna keep working on it and keep doing those exercises. And I just noticed that this past couple weeks since Christmas and stuff, it's been colder. And I haven't, been doing as much physically, like walking and stuff that I normally do. So I'm gonna,
Get up and do it, dude.
get up and get out.
This is the one thing about our bones that a lot of people don't realize is that being stagnant actually causes your bones to become brittle, right? Having a tight joints causes the bones to be because it causes the bones to have to work harder. So this
Mhm.
is actually a good time of year to really be doing. I mean, yeah, you don't want to be doing. I don't know. I actually like the cold, and I get a lot more active in the winter because it's like because with it's cold, it's like okay, I got to warm up, I got to do this. Like I like running in the cold.
Right,
I just do. I like doing physical activity, playing basketball, whatever it is. It's like I like getting up and moving in the cold.
right,
Now, do I just get up and move? No, probably not like the spring or summertime to where that is all about taking action and getting moving and stuff.
hmm,
But you don't want to be stagnant, right?
right,
You got all the stuff from the fall that you've been releasing, whether it's old inflammation, old emotions, old experiences, old whatever that now are washing away because we're in water season. So now it's time to wash all that stuff away and then to start planting the seeds for the spring to start, blossoming or should I say, growing new um, experiences, growing new,
hmm,
whatever you did for your what do you call it? New Year's resolution, whatever that
Right.
is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that stuff does not start to actually manifest until spring. But you're putting those intentions out there, right? That's what the whole purpose of doing a New Year's resolutions and doing that type of stuff. And actually, a lot of people are doing vision boards right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a big fan of the vision boards, but I do like the idea of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've tried them in the past, and it was just kind of it didn't seem to it I don't know, it didn't resonate for me.
Right.
That's just for me. But I
Mm-hmm.
do see how it does resonate with a lot of people. It does motivate them to, maybe be healthier for the year, motivates them to get a clearer vision of what they're wanting to do, where they're going, where they're headed.
Right.
What do they want to let go of, or what do they no longer need in their life? Like it gives them a good idea of that, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
do I do actually I like them for that purpose. Um,
Right.
but it's like I don't get into them myself too much. Like it's my vision board is like in my phone where I write down notes. It's like I want to do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take care of that, and it's a reminder to do it, a reminder to do
Right.
it, a reminder to do it. That's how I do it because it's I've done that. I've gone through the whole
Mm-hmm.
slew of all the different modalities and the different techniques, and I haven't done them all. Like there's a
Right.
lot. There's an infinite number of different techniques from a spiritual modalities for manifesting and for creating the life that you want, and for understanding and becoming more open to yourself and your spirituality, and becoming more in tune with yourself, right?
Right.
Like I've been through a lot of it, and and the funny thing is that maybe some of it did actually work. It's just you got to be patient with it.
Right. Uh-huh. And it all doesn't happen with instant gratification to show us, oh, you're here, you're here. You got to work
It
with it, I guess.
can,
Uh-huh.
but I mean, you got to be really, really strong manifester for that, and you got to be really, um, uh, your intention and your emotion have to be very tied together. Like it's like you have to have that, and then you have to have the motivation to do the action, take the action,
Uh-huh.
because that's what it is. It's like you got a thought, you get an idea, right? You
Hmm.
speak it, and not necessarily expressing it to the world, because that kind of takes away your own blessings whenever you tell the world about what you're doing.
Right.
But there's this action, which is always the piece that I find myself included.
Uh-huh.
I find people skipping is they'll do a vision board, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this and that this that, and then they're like, okay, I'm waiting for it to happen. I'm waiting for it to happen. It hasn't happened. I've been saying these affirmations 100 times a day, and it hasn't happened. And I'm like, oh, well, what actions are you taking?
Hmm.
Look at me like, actions. I'm like, well, you have to take actions towards what you want. Because the thing
Right.
is the universe is all about intent. And without action, there is no intent. You can intend to help all these people in the world, but if you don't actually get up to go help them, it's like you didn't help anybody,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
You can intend to make $1 million, but if you're sitting on the couch watching TV all day, the universe is just like, oh yeah, he's not being honest about that,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And when I say taking action, it doesn't mean you got to get up and do something, but it'd be as simple as, I've been working on my business cards for my business,
Right.
doing some promotional stuff, trying to get that stuff out there, and just, really trying to find my voice in it, and how I could do it the way that I feel most authentic,
Right.
right? And figuring that piece out. Because for me, authentic is not, again, we kind of talked about the sales. It's like, I'm not a salesperson.
Right.
I could sell you some stuff talking the way that you talked, like when I worked at GNC. Yeah, I could tell you my experience with with a pre-workout. It's like, man, I like about this, you get this tingly feeling. It's like when I work out, it's like I do more exercise, right?
Right.
That's my experience.
And you could also get feedback from people too, as well, when
Right,
you're in
and getting
that
feedback,
scenario.
right? And
Uh-huh.
getting the feedback and stuff as well. Um but it's just more of a I'm kind of very I like to help people that are really asking for the help, or really wanting the help, as opposed to people that kind of go through the motions of, yeah, let me try it.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
or whatever the results are. So it's a um if I oh, well, one thing I wanted to say, so I get a lot of people where I offer my services to, and it's like I see where I can help them, but the thing is that I can't really do anything for anyone unless you ask me, unless you request it.
Right.
And so when I offer it, it don't I don't want it to be looked at as, oh, this dude's just trying to sell me something. Um, because I've had some people where I offered them the BWS scan, And they were kind of like, well, I don't want to buy the product, right? Because we got the infoceuticals. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not really offering you the product, but we will talk about, the infoceuticals, right? But I'm
Right.
not gonna that's not my main purpose. My main purpose is to, hey, let's see where you're at. Let me show you where you're at.
Right.
Let me show you what I can do for you, how I can help you. Or, maybe I can't help you, right? Maybe this isn't for you, right? But, I want to at least get you into that space so that we can actually have the conversation,
Right.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
no purchase necessary, right? It's
Right.
like, but I do got to pay bills, so it's like I can't just give everything away for free. But if I
Right.
do, and anyone watching this, if I do actually reach out to you and say, hey, here's some services I'm offering you, it's like I was like, I do want you to understand that I may have seen an imbalance in you in a conversation or in interacting with you, but I need you to actually come in. I can't just tell you what it is. I need you to come in so I can show it to you and see if this is something you want to work on,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, so it's not a, again, that's why I say it's like it's hard for me to be like, I want to sell this. It's like, oh, well, it's like I can't sell this. Like it's like I'm not selling you insurance. I'm not selling you a vehicle. I'm not selling you a product,
Right.
right? Yeah, there will have some products that I'll recommend,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not gonna sell it to you.
Right.
So that's that hurdle that I'm trying to navigate around, because it's like, because that's my authentic self. That's where I'm authentic, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me to get on here and be like, oh, hey, you got a low testosterone, it's like, take this vitamin. That's not really not me.
Yeah.
Or, oh, you're dealing with stress. It's like, okay, I actually, with that, it's like I'll be like, oh, well, here's an exercise,
Right.
right? And the funny thing about that is that doesn't always get me the client, which is interesting about it. It's like, oh, I actually helped you. I actually helped you right now, and it doesn't actually
Uh-huh.
get me the client. And it was because I wasn't selling it. It was just because it's like, hey, I freely gave you this information. And so a lot of people misunderstand that when someone actually offers you help for free without asking for anything in advance, those
Uh-huh.
people are being authentic with you.
Right.
People that are not willing to help you because you're not going to pay them are not being authentic with you. That's not
Right.
that's not authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
That's there's a different agenda. And there might be a little bit authenticity in it.
Right.
And again, it's like I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings on that, but that's how I feel about it. If
Right.
I'm coming at you and it's like, and I'm like, oh, hey, I'm offering you this, this, and this, but you got to pay me $250 to get it. No, I'm going to
Right.
give you a little bit of it as like the stuff that can help you right now, to kind of give you, hey, this is the stuff that'll keep you until you're ready to really work with me. This is
Right.
the stuff that will kind of help you to start to see and start to to learn about yourself. And that's what I'm really doing, is I'm teaching you how to work with yourself, how to test your own supplements, how to make sure that you're vibrating at the right vibrations, how to make sure that you're processing your emotions the way that you should be processing them in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not healing anybody.
Right.
I'm teaching you to heal, right? And
Right.
that's me. I'm a teacher.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. I mean that's definitely good, and you definitely, I like the authenticity of it, and you don't know, everybody that's on, social media right now, what their objective is. Usually you can see it,
Yeah.
with them, with their selling products, but there's not a lot of people that I see that are just like, okay, this might help you, take a look at it. But with this podcast, we just want to just let everybody know, if you have questions about it, ask, make
Yeah.
comments,
Yeah. Reach out.
and you
You'll see
know,
all my contact information. I put it in all the videos below, or actually in the profile, my YouTube profile. But in the videos, I'll go ahead and add the comments, how to contact me, best ways, or, if you're seeing this on social media, reach out to me on social media. Let's have a conversation. Just,
right.
a conversation doesn't hurt. Conversations are free.
Yeah.
If you decide that it's like something I can do for you, great. Let's work together.
Hmm.
And if not, great. Hey, we had a good conversation, right? Like,
Right.
love talking to people.
Yep. So yeah. Yeah.
What is that? What kind of shirt is that, by the way? Is
This is
that
it's
Sean John?
Ben Sherman, I think. I don't
Who?
know who Ben Sherman is, but it was a good pickup for me at Burlington. So
Oh, gotcha.
yeah, but like a $10 shirt, I was like, oh, that looks good. It's got,
Yeah.
red, white,
Well,
and
no, I
blue
like
on it.
the design, because it's like the contrast of the design of the
Thank you,
stripes. But then I was kind of reading it, I was like, oh, what does that say? Like,
Ben Sherman. It might be a golfer. I don't know
that
who.
say Blues in?
Well, we got to get our own
Yeah, I got to get my
merch
logos.
out.
I got to get my logos and stuff put together.
Yeah, I would like to get a t-shirt though. I like our logo and how it's set up, and I would like
For
to
the
get a t-shirt.
our show.
Yeah, for the show.
I'll send you the graphic for it, dude. You can just
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would actually be kind of cool. I didn't even think about that, putting it on a
On a shirt, yeah.
yeah.
I was thinking about that today. It's like we don't have any merch, so that might be
Yeah,
something to look into.
no, we're
And
not.
I got a buddy that's done some of that stuff, so
Yeah, yeah,
link up with him and see what the process is to get that
yeah,
going too.
yeah. Let me know because I've been looking for some other logo. Well, I have my own logos and stuff, but other not necessarily have merchandise, but to have so I can have my own shirts and stuff. Like I want to get
Right.
like a shirt because I got these. These are my kung fu shirts, but I want to get some of these and put like Blue Zen on it,
Right.
or and then I got my Zen Athletic Skills logo, and it's like I want to put get the Zen Athletic Skills and get a whole thing on there. But I didn't even think of doing a Mr. Smith and Brother Blue Zen show.
Yeah. I I would wear it, and it's for
That's
me
a
it's a
tattoo,
conversation
dude.
piece.
Got to get the tattoo.
Well, that's the thing. I don't have any tattoos,
For
so
Blue
yeah.
Zen,
Bam.
Mr. Smith.
So,
For sure, man. So,
yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
man, hey, I'll let you get back to your day, sir.
Yes,
Thanks for
likewise.
hooking up so we can
Yes.
get the show recorded. I know it's been a minute since we recorded one. The new
Yeah,
year is taking up a lot of time.
it is, but I think we're moving through nicely and looking forward to the positive moves and working through some stuff and getting stuff done. So, yeah.
Oh, all right, my man. Hey,
Okay.
I'm Brother Blues in. I was about
I'm
to call
Mr.
myself
Smith.
Mr. Smith. I was about to call myself Mr. Smith. Like I'm Mr. Smith. I'm Brother
You can
Blues
act
in.
like Mr. Smith, but you ain't gonna be Mr. Smith.
Good stuff, man. I'm Brother Blues in,
I'm Mr. Smith.
and always follow your Zen.
Yes.